Welcome back to the channel. This is the Casuals. Um, this is Jin, and today it's just gonna be me again. Um, and this recording in particular wasn't made on the week I want to say of when this releases. I guess this is kind of like a thing I recorded, or I am recording right now. Maybe a while back, and I have kept this recording because I'm gonna be keeping this recording because I just want to touch upon, I guess, certain things. Um, so yeah, I guess it's kind of like a life thing again. Nothing too serious, I guess, right? Um, when I did the first solo episode with just giving myself an introduction, um, I hadn't really talked about myself that much. In fact, I did get distracted and kind of went off a completely different tangent about just talking about anime. I shouldn't have done that, but I mean, I guess you could infer that, I am the type of person that does go off topic a lot. Um, so I'm here to basically kind of expand on who I am as a person in a sense. And also just kind of talk about some other stuff. I think by all accounts, I'm a fairly normal person. Um, Normal is very relative for everyone, so anyone can claim that they're normal, and they could be right, and and some could be wrong. But I genuinely think I am normal in the sense that I didn't really have any ambitions. I didn't really have any real goals. I kind of just wandered around life doing whatever. Um, and currently, I mean, I'm in the position I am in right now because I didn't really have something that I wanted to do, nor did I have something that I was aiming to do. I think one of my biggest regrets in my life is actually having this kind of like attitude of if I don't see something changing right away or something I'm not getting better at it, then I kind of just stop. It's happened multiple times when I was young, multiple different sports, instruments. Um, I kind of just gave up before I even tried. And there is a lot of regrets in that, I think. Because I think one of the advice I want to give too, right, is when you're trying to master something, whether it's an instrument, sport, skill, you have to look past that short term result and, look towards that long term result. Whether it be 1 year from that day, 2 years, 3 years, even 5 to 6 years. Especially when you're young, right? Especially when you're a teenager, you have to realize, and I think it's unfortunate that most people don't, or most, I guess, teenagers don't realize, is that when you're like 15 years old, you have a lot of time. At the same time, you don't have a lot of time, right? You have a lot of time in the sense that you have a lot of you don't have a lot of responsibilities, assuming that you're in a relatively, um, I guess, financially stable state, um, where you don't need to assume the position of having to be one of the providers of your family or even the provider of yourself. I think that having that, kind of position, you have a lot of time because you are no longer, you know, you're not dealing with having to take care of expenses. You're not dealing with having other obligations outside of your schedule, normal schedule. You're just able to be, you in that sense. But what I also mean by you don't have a lot of time is that days go by fast. I'm what? 10 years ago, I was in school thinking that reaching the age of adulthood, which is like 20 or 21, would be slow. I thought the school days would take forever. But truly, honestly, it feels like I just had blinked and 5 years have passed. Another blink, another 5 years have passed. I recently had my birthday, and that's another year just gone. And legitimately, last year felt like it was just a blink. When you hear all these adults saying that, you know, time will go by fast, they aren't joking because as you get older, the time that it takes, or the perceived time gets even shorter, right? You suddenly feel like you don't have a lot of time, and I think that's where a lot of my regrets came from is not having, not realizing that, and then having almost no skill whatsoever. I don't think I'm skilled in anything, honestly. I am just painfully average in that sense. Um, and because of that, I also have, I guess, a lot of self-esteem issues. I tend to beat myself up over a lot of things, even the most minor things. I don't have any self confidence. I don't have really, I didn't really even have anyone to tell me that I was worrying, or I'm continuously worrying about over the smallest little things, you know? Everything that I do, everything I've said, I always do. Well, I don't always remember, but I remember if I think I did something wrong, right? And it lives, it's just etched in my brain. And I'm in the process of getting better at that. Where I need to let go even of the minor things. Like, I need to realize that some people are like me too, where negative comments or just like even things that might be perceived as negative like don't really matter. Like we just kind of brush it off. I think people, do the same, but I just can't help but not do that or not have that mentality where I need to realize that. And it sucks. It sucks. And I guess another reason why I never talked about this actually. Another reason why I wanted to do these videos and start this channel is because of my self-esteem issues, right? Um, I think like I'm not gonna spout this like nonsense, like not nonsense, but I'm not gonna spout this all this stuff about like self love or self um acceptance. I think that's kind of ridiculous in the sense that you can't tell everyone to have self love and self acceptance, and then you could like improve yourself. It's a tough mental road and tough mental block to get past in the first place because of the mental condition that we are in, I guess. But I guess this is my attempt to, get past that roadblock to and like get on the path of like accepting myself for who I am. And so that's another reason why I kind of started this channel with Saki. And I guess another thing is, another, I guess, a very minor reason, right? It wasn't even really a consideration until I started doing it. But another reason why I even started this channel is because I have tinnitus. And tinnitus is a very debilitating condition that truly does suck. It honestly is so debilitating to me because what tinnitus is, if you don't know, and I hope that this doesn't expose more people to tinnitus, is that tinnitus is like a noise that constantly you hear. Um, it's either a ringing noise, high pitched noise. It can come in various forms, various sounds. Um, but it's a non-stop ringing. You get tinnitus commonly, or you get like temporary tinnitus commonly through from going to like concerts and it's really loud and you're kind of like near the front where all the speakers are. Your ears are like kind of damaged temporarily for that, from that. Or the military personnel has a lot of tinnitus, just because of the constant gunfire that they're, um, exposed to, which is very loud. Um, If you ever, I guess to describe mine, if you ever seen in the, I guess Call of Duty would be the most common one, but those games that have flashbangs and you get flashbang and that really loud white noise that happens when that flashbang goes off, that's kind of like my tinnitus. And it's in both my ears, unfortunately. And it happened one day, just suddenly. I think it happened around 6 years ago now. I just woke up with it, and it was a nightmare. It was probably one of the worst times of my life, having tinnitus. And, you know, I'm kind of, I guess, admittedly, I'm somewhat afraid of like like tinnitus being even worse to the point where I can't hear anything anymore. Luckily, from what I have, I guess, observed throughout my time with having tinnitus, it hasn't gotten any worse yet. I expect it to get worse, but I mean, who knows what the future holds. So, if that situation ever does come into play, right, where I'm unable to hear anymore, I don't know if I will be able to continue. I don't know. I think my life would end up being consumed by, that condition, right? Where I'm no longer joyful, I'm no longer happy. So at the very least, I wanted to leave some, form of happiness in some way, marking my time where I was dealing with this condition. And, you know, just hope that I am able to hear or listen back to these videos and smile. I think it's unfortunate too because tinnitus is such a weird condition where there's no real cure for it yet. Research has been happening, but it's not really, you know, considered, I guess, quote unquote, important, right, in the eyes of the medical industry because, you see all these research into cancer, you see all these research into other diseases, which is not to downplay them, nor to admonish, those people who are researching them. They're doing it for a good cause. I just find it unfortunate that, like, whenever you try looking up tinnitus, it's just nothing really. There's been research, nothing really came up. Barely any clinical trials for, solutions to tinnitus. I mean, there has been one more recently, but I mean, I don't know where that went, to be honest. It's just kind of a thing where there's like, well, you have it, unfortunately. It's not going to kill you, but, you just got to live with it. So it sucks. So yeah, I'm just living, with tinnitus as I go. And, I just kind of wanted to touch upon that because you don't really see that in, I guess, recordings too. I always stated that, we're just being ourselves, right? Me and Saki are just being ourselves when we're recording. And we are. I'm not really hiding anything. It's just that it's a part of me that I feel like is unnecessary to show. Like, I don't think anyone really wants to hear I'm depressed. Like, no one really wants to hear about someone else's problems, right? Unless you are really close, like you're best friends or something for life. But even then, some people don't want to hear other people's problems, which is understandable. Everyone has their own problems. And hearing someone else's problems is almost like a burden to them, right? It's like an extra added weight upon your shoulders because now they have confined to you, like, with you, their problems. And it's kind of like that hidden or like silent expectations, unless stated otherwise, that you try and alleviate that. At least that's how I see it. which doesn't mean at all that that is the intention behind someone saying it, because a lot of times people just want to vent their frustration. That's their way of dealing with it. But for someone like me, you know, that's how I perceive it, right? Am I obligated to try and help? Probably not, unless they directly ask me. Who knows? I guess the answer would vary depending on who you ask. But yeah, I had also, I guess to top it up, or like close this kind of part off. I don't think I'm gonna change anything. I don't think I'm gonna change in the I don't think I'm ever gonna drastically change. I think I'm just gonna keep on being who I am. It's more like a reflection, I guess, right? The only thing I would probably try and change is being a better person. That's always something I try striving for. But yeah, I guess in other news, right? Moving on from this subject, I'm gonna try streaming. I don't know, as in like I have streamed once, but that was only one time. I realized it's far more difficult to start streaming things than I thought it would be. Uh, and I one of the biggest issues I have with streaming is because it is that I'm not an interesting person. I fumble with my words a lot. I'm not a very good, storyteller. I'm horrible at storytelling. Like horrible. And but I still want to try streaming, right? I still want to try streaming regularly. My plan was to try and do Tuesday, Thursdays, and Saturdays. I don't know if that's gonna be possible or not. I might try starting small, which is just Tuesday, Thursdays. Who knows? I have a ton of single player games to get through that I do want to try streaming. I just don't know if I can actually do it because I have other things that I want to be doing too. But I would like to at least set a goal to try and stream. And the reason why I want to try streaming is because I think I enjoy talking with other people. And YouTube, doesn't really do that in terms of just traditional video format. Live streaming does. Where I'm live streaming, I don't know. I might have a secondary YouTube account that I will open for this specific kind of thing. Or I might just stream on Twitch, which that's the first stream I did. So yeah. Whoever's watching this, if you do want to check out my stream, I'll probably have a link somewhere in the future. So yeah, this one's gonna be a little bit short, and I know it's a little bit off because the casuals is a group thing, a group kind of activity. But right now, this video will probably go up if Saki just has some other emergencies or couldn't make it to recording or something like that. So who knows when this will be up, and I won't specify when I recorded this either. So I'll end it here. So I'm Jin, and this is the Casuals, and we will see you next time. Bye bye.